Hello everyone, it's time for the full review of the Honor Magic 8 Pro. Of course, I've already shared my comparison with the OnePlus 15, but I know not everyone watches comparison videos. So I put everything together and we try to wrap it all up in a complete final review. So let's get into it. Is actually quite interesting because with many phones this year, I wasn't sure whether I should even order them, for example the Oppo Find S9 Pro, which turned out to be a great phone. With the Honor Magic 8 Pro, however, I had absolutely no concerns. Maybe that's a bit of weakness of my part, caused by the fact that the Magic 8 Pro strongly reminds me of the old Huawei phones, especially when it comes to the system. In terms of design, the Honor Magic 8 Pro closely follows the Magic 7 Pro design, and honestly that's a good thing, because I really like this look. I'm a big fan of the sky cyan color, which is very interesting thanks to the shiny back. The Honor definitely stands out among other smartphones, and thanks to the fact that the 8 Pro is also narrower, it's much more comfortable to use. On top of that, the IP69K water resistance rating is a very nice bonus. One thing that slightly disappointed me this year is the still gently curved display. Honor doesn't follow the flat screen trend we are seeing from many other producers. The display resolution isn't the highest on the market, but aside from that, it's hard to seriously criticize this panel. It's a 10-bit display with well-calibrated colors. The producer claims a peak brightness of 6000 nits, but this level can mainly be achieved with the HDR content. For everyday use, the more relevant number is the high brightness mode, and it's 1800 nits. In terms of screen brightness, especially in full sunlight, it performs really well, at least that was my impressions in Malta. At the time of recording this video, I'm already in Poland, and there is practically no sun, so it's hard for me to show this directly on camera. That's why the B-roll will be from the Malta. Auto brightness works well overall and reacts properly to changes lighting conditions, although at times, especially in darker environments, it could dim a bit more smoothly. The PWM dimming frequency is 4320 Hz, and there are two available dimming modes, Comfort and Classic, so everyone can choose the one that suits them best. Additionally, in the developer options, PWM dimming can be completely disabled, which is a great option to have. There is also a dedicated Honor Eye Comfort display section in the settings, offering several features designed to improve visual comfort and reduce eye strain. When it comes to biometrics, is excellent. Honor really stands out here. In addition to the very good ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, there is also 3D face recognition, which works even in complete darkness and can be used to authorize banking apps. The Honor Magic 8 Pro has new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. It also comes with UFS 4.1 and in my case 12 GB of RAM. In daily use, the phone performs excellently. It's fast and the animations are really smooth. I really like Magic OS. It strongly reminds me of the old Huawei P30 Pro, which I still have at home. After logging into an Honor account, you get access to additional themes and icon packs. I really like Honor's Magic Portal and Magic Text features. They are very useful. Of course, there are also additional AI functions like AI subtitles and AI Translate, as well as gallery tools such as the Magic Eraser, AI Upscale or AI Cutout. The only thing I can complain about a little is haptics. The taps themselves are fine and you can even adjust their intensity, but the system-wide implementation could be better. It's not quite the level of the best phones. In terms of temperatures, it's significantly better than the Honor Magic 7 Pro. During everyday use, the phone heated up to max around 41 degrees, when using the camera in the sun at about 23 degrees or during an hour of Call of Duty gameplay on the highest graphics settings. Of course, current outdoor temperatures are lower, so I couldn't test how the phone would behave when recording in, for example, 30 degrees sunlight. Unfortunately, that's not possible at this time. In the 3D Mark Extreme stress test, the phone reached a maximum of 47 degrees and didn't display any overheating warnings during or after the test, whereas the Magic 7 Pro even struggled to complete it. In terms of extras, the phone comes with an IR blaster for controlling home devices, as well as the so-called AI button. This button is located where many smartphones place an extra camera button. You can set 3 functions to it: a single press, a double press, and a long press. However, it's worth noting that the available options are limited, mainly related to the camera and AI features, like launching the camera or launching Google Lens. The placement of the button for camera control isn't ideal. If it were closer to the bottom edge, reaching it would be much easier. Regarding producer support, in March 2025, Honor informed that it would extend support for the Magic series to 7 years. It can therefore be expected that the Honor Magic 8 Pro will also receive such long-term support. In terms of signal reception, I have no complaints. Even in places where some globally distributed phones struggle with a stable connection, the Honor performs very well, probably because this is the Asian market version. As for call quality, I'm also surprised. I remember that with the Magic 7 Pro, the call quality was a bit unusual. High frequencies were overly pronounced and could sometimes be annoying. With the 8 Pro, it's clean with a wide sound range and clear voice reproduction. When it comes to speakers, they have a quite distinctive sound, spacious with a strong bass boost, especially in bass premium mode. They definitely outperform many competitors like the Vivo X300 Pro, Oppo Find S9 Pro and the OnePlus 15. The only downside is that the phone is resonating at higher volume levels, which can be a bit annoying. In terms of Bluetooth codec support, it's excellent. The phone supports LDAC, LHDC, aptX, aptX HD, aptX Adaptive, and even aptX Lossless. I tested this with my Denon Per Pro headphones, which support aptX Lossless. Last year, the Magic 7 Pro had much more limited codec support. And now the camera. We will start in the classic way with the main lens. In automatic mode, photos from the Honor Magic 8 Pro are solid, but quite distinctive. I'm referring to the typical Honor's look. Similar to the Pixel phones, it has a characteristic color tuning on the main camera. Of course, there are several color profiles available. The default is the vivid mode, but I always switch to the natural, because it reflects reality the best. And although photos in natural mode look the most realistic, they still tend to have stronger saturation, especially when it comes to greens or the sky. These aren't the softest photos you can get on the market, and in bright scenes, better exposure control would be welcome. Sometimes you need to adjust it manually. The ultra-wide-angle camera remains, at least on paper, pretty much the same as last year. It offers a wide field of view, over 122 degrees, and similar color tuning to the main camera. It doesn't really impress in any special way, it's simply decent. Fortunately, I don't use the ultra-wide very often, so this doesn't bother me that much. Bigger changes have appeared in the telephoto lens. Looking at the specifications, one would think that we are dealing with a Samsung sensor, the HP9, one of the best on the market. And judging by side-by-side shots taken with both the Honor Magic 8 Pro and the X100 Ultra, this hypothesis seems to be a possible one. The photos turn out really good, both in good and the more challenging lighting conditions. And the telephoto lens can also be used for macro-style shots. Of course, Honor doesn't offer a dedicated telemacro mode, which I consider a missed opportunity. The only available macro mode applies to the ultra-wide camera. Thankfully, the 10x or 15x zoom is good enough that it can still be used effectively for macro-type shots. Additionally, above 10x, Honor offers AI zoom. After taking a photo, you receive both the non-AI version and the AI-enhanced one. What's more, Honor shows exactly what was changed in the image, allowing you to keep the version you prefer. Zoom is another area where there is a clear improvement over the Magic 7 Pro, both in good and weaker lighting conditions. Up to 10x, it works really well. And beyond that, you can enable AI zoom, which usually performs great. Sometimes it can overdo it, but in most cases the results are very good. When it comes to portrait shots, we can use 1x, 2x, 3.7x, 5.9x, and 7.4x. I'm really surprised by the quality of these portraits. In my opinion, they are much better than what I saw in Honor Magic 7 Pro. And the amount of detail, especially on telephoto lens, is very good. The 8 Pro does a very good job of separating the subject from the background, especially around hair. It's also important to disable the default face beautification, so that faces look more natural. The front camera takes really good photos, natural looking and with plenty of detail. However, it's worth turning off the default beauty effect. Hair separation in portrait mode isn't perfect, but it still performs better than on many other phones. Night photos turn out really well. The automatic night mode activates only when it's truly needed. The shots are fairly detailed, although they still don't match smartphones with the 1-inch sensor. When it comes to the controlling reflections and lens flare, it tends to be more of them than I expected, especially on the telephoto lens, which surprised me a bit. Additionally, at night, AI zoom above 10x can be hit or miss. In my case, it activates almost when photographing text, so it's worth keeping that in mind. Action shots turn out very well. Thanks to the action mode, Honor performs excellently, both in good light and in darker conditions. Under artificial lighting, you can see more motion blur, especially on the telephoto lens, but even then, this phone still ranks among the top in this category. And now let's move on to the video. Honor records up to 4K at 120 FPS, which works great for high-quality slow motion. You can also record in HDR, but only with the main camera. Unfortunately, it's not possible to switch between the front and main cameras while recording, either in 4K 60 FPS or in 4K 30 FPS. There is no dedicated video portrait mode, but before recording you can enable the person icon to force a portrait effect. However, the resolution drops to 4K 30 FPS. In Pro Video mode, we can adjust all parameters and record in a log mode, but only up to 4K 60 FPS. You can also use a built-in LUT, but in that case the resolution drops to Full HD at 30 FPS. As for the video quality, the colors are vivid and saturated, sometimes even too much, which can look artificial. Stabilization works fine, but sometimes Honor tends to drop frames, especially when I use it in a warmer environment. "4K 60 FPS. Now main camera, we go to ultra wide. Okay, we back to 1x, telephoto lens. Okay, the maximum zoom is 15x. Okay, we back to 1x and running. "4K 60 FPS front-facing camera." Oh, now it's a bit cold here in Poland, and in 4K 60 FPS we can't switch to the main camera. Also in 4K 30 FPS we can't switch, and now there is no sun today, so it's difficult to show you how it looks like towards sun. So maybe the stabilization during running. 4K 60 FPS front-facing camera video at night, but I noticed some flashes in the background. I don't know, maybe there is from that, because the auto FPS is turning off now. Now I try to record in 4K 30 FPS and we will see if there will be the same situation. Okay, so now there is a 4K 30 FPS, and as I could see, I don't see these flashes in the background now. So maybe there is a kind of problem, because now there is not a lot of light. You can see sometimes the lamps from the street, but it's not enough light. So that's how it looks like in that kind of conditions. When it comes to the battery, the Honor in my global version for the Asian market has 7100 mAh. At first the battery didn't make a strong impression on me, but over time its performance clearly improved. Even so, it still doesn't give the same sense of security as, for example, the battery in OnePlus 15. When I mainly used Wi-Fi, and there were days like that, the smartphone could easily last up to a day and a half. In the case of intense use of mobile data instead of Wi-Fi, but without intensive use of the camera, the battery easily lasted the whole day. However, with mixed use like some Wi-Fi, some mobile data, and taking a large number of photos, one day was the maximum time I managed to squeeze out of this Honor. My screen on time was around 6 to 7 hours, sometimes it was higher, but that was rare. I use 2 SIM cards, one of which is in roaming, and I use mobile data quite intensively, which of course affect power consumption. In my global version for the Asian market, the charger was included in the box, but with a Hong Kong standard plug, but compatible with, among others, Malta, which is a big plus for me. As for charging, we get 100 watt wired and 80 watt wireless. The phone charged to 50% in 18 minutes, and the full charge from 10% using the original charger took me about 46 minutes. For such a large battery, that's a really good result. So to sum up, the Honor Magic 8 Pro is, in my opinion, quite a successful evolution of the Honor Magic 7 Pro. We get top-tier performance, excellent biometrics, and overall a really good battery with a very fast charging, at least when using the dedicated charger. The telephoto lens is the big step forward and definitely the strongest point of the camera setup. The rest doesn't stand out quite as much. We still have that specific Honor photo character, which may not appeal to everyone. Still, if you are looking for a powerful flagship with a good battery, great biometrics and a very good telephoto lens, the Honor Magic 8 Pro is a very good choice. Of course, it all comes down to price. If in European distribution it exceeds €1,300, as it most likely will, strong competitors appear on the horizon, like for example Oppo Find X9 Pro. I have the impression that the Honor Magic 7 Pro was one of the more underrated smartphones of 2025. Perhaps because of marketing or perhaps because of its price. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that the Magic 8 Pro may face a very similar fate. Although I hope I'm wrong, because it's one of those phones I really enjoy using. Definitely more than the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Thanks for watching this video. As always, I encourage you to subscribe the channel. The more of you there are, the more motivation I have to keep creating the new content for you. So take care, and we will see in the next videos. Bye!